Hey everyone, Matt here from Herbal House, and in this video we're taking a much closer look at the latest release from 4SEASONS, the Helios 480X. Now there's a few key improvements on this panel, so let's get right into the specs and features. Starting off with the design of this panel, it is of course true to the Helios family series, which means it is a bar style light. So you're going to get a large fixture that's going to offer the most amount of coverage for a single LED grow light. And that's what we love about these panels, because you're getting a lot of coverage out of a single fixture that really does suit those larger grow spaces. This new generation measures slightly larger at 90 by 90 centimeters, so a nice improvement in terms of coverage and lighting distribution. Now this 480X has had some changes around how the panel is put together versus the previous generation. These panels are now a full fold-out frame design, so installation is an absolute breeze. Simply folding out the panel, installing the locking pins and dropping the driver on the back, you are effectively ready to go. Of course there are some hangers included, which is going to make setting this up an absolute breeze. And being of the 480X variety, it means this panel is utilising the Samsung LM301H series diodes. They're industry-leading diodes when it comes to efficiency, reliability, and of course the colour produced specifically for horticulture applications. There is a few key changes that you will actually see visually to this panel apart from how it's put together. The LED bars themselves have gotten a lot larger, meaning we've gained a lot of real estate for diodes to be fitted, going from around 1500 diodes right up to 2160 diodes now implemented on this panel. It does make a big change in real-world applications when we're talking running efficiency, reliability, and light produced for the exact same wattage. A really nice buffer and increase in performance that we can't wait to show you. The diodes themselves are well insulated with a thin silicon coating, keeping them impervious to the harsh conditions of grow spaces domestically and of course commercially. Split between 3000K and 5000K diodes, it's effectively combining a veg and a flower bulb into a single light fixture. So really good to be able to offer a seed to harvest spectrum with 660 and 730 diodes sprinkled in there to really bolster the spectrum in some key areas. And of course, to power up all of those Samsung diodes, you need a good driver solution. 4SEASONS has put a lot of effort into their own driver, which as you can see sits nice and compact between these LED bars, keeping the panel profile extremely thin and low for those very compact growing spaces. The driver is there to provide an efficient electrical supply, and it is of course passively cooled. This entire panel will not make any noise at all. It is designed to reject all of the heat without the assistance of fans. That is actually true across the entire Helios range. Now this driver has seen some improvements in the actual cabling used as well. They're now using silicon grade components with copper conductors, meaning we're seeing more electrical efficiency, less losses, and of course waterproof glands to keep everything nice and IP rated. Now once you've got this Helios powered up, it is designed to draw 480 watts from the wall, which is definitely a lot, and your plants aren't going to need all of that at every growth stage. That's why they've migrated the dimmer module from the driver to the end rail. So it's even more accessible when you need to make those adjustments in power intensity to suit the specific growth stages. So as you can tell, 4SEASONS has worked really hard to design and develop a commercial solution that translates to the domestic market. Now with these panels, they are fully backed with a 5-year warranty, even with us here at Herbal House, and they are fully SAA certified, meaning that they're safe to use and covered by insurance from here all the way to Australia, regardless of how harsh the environment is. Alright, so now that we've covered all the tweaks, changes and features that this new generation has to offer, let's get it off the table in the tent behind me and give you guys a real world scenario on how this panel actually performs. And today's grow tent of choice is of course the AC Infinity Cloud Lab 844. Now this tent measures 1.2 by 1.2 by 2 meters tall, and it is a match made in heaven for this particular grow light. In fact, I believe the 480X is actually designed to operate perfectly in a 1.2 tent with no compromise. So in this particular case, we're going to set this light up and take some measurements with our par meter and our spectroradiometer. But first I want to touch on how easy the installation is. As mentioned earlier, folding the panel out, extremely straightforward, but setting it up in the grow tent is just as easy. With the 4 included rope ratchet hangers, you can lift and lower this light to your heart's content. Whether you be working with plants on a grow wall or you simply want to lift and lower the light for those different stages of growth, it is extremely straightforward. So let's get right into the testing. Of course, with any grow light, you want to understand how much intensity it is producing, so we use our Apogee Far Par sensor. This is a great way to get an understanding on any grow light and how much lighting it is actually producing that your plants will respond to. We refer to this as PAR, or photosynthetic active radiation. It's a great way to gauge how intense the grow light is at different dimmer settings across a given grow space. Now these Pmaps are an excellent way to jump straight into growing plants at their maximum capacity. What we find is with these particular Pmaps, not everybody is going to require extremely high numbers. Particularly plants in juvenile states or early vegetative states will not require nearly as much intensity to thrive. Typically finding that when we cross above 600 U-moles, you are in the territory of providing really good flowering results. Generally, when you get up above 1000 U-moles, you want to consider CO2 supplementation to really make use of what this grow light has to offer. Now that you've got a good idea on just how much intensity this grow light produces, understanding the quality of that intensity is just as important. So we're going to use our Spectr radiometer to take a sample of light produced from this panel. Of course, it's utilizing the Samsung LM301H diodes, which are simply one of the best in the industry. We can get a full breakdown on the actual spectrum that this light is emitting. You can see from the sample of light we've taken with our Spectr radiometer, you can see the full rainbow effect on the display here. I'm just going to cover what you're actually looking at. Of course, you'll see a very high peak at the start here in the blue wavelengths. That high emphasis in the blues is thanks to the 5000K diodes from the Samsungs. That's producing a very high content in cold colors. What that effectively means for your plants is they're going to stay shorter, stockier, and denser, reducing stretch when you're working within the confines of a grow tent. It's extremely excellent to see. As we move across the spectrum here, you're going to notice another high peak in the red range. That peak is there thanks to the 3000K and 660 specific diodes bolstering up that area. That's there to enhance the flowering and fruiting production, again ensuring that we have a full spectrum from red right through to blue, with of course a very high peak in the key areas to help accelerate that growth. Just beyond that, you'll notice a very small peak in the 730 range. Again, those supplemental 730 diodes are bolstering that area to help enhance photosynthesis. So that's giving you a little more depth into the understanding of what this panel produces in terms of intensity and quality of light. But being able to control that is extremely critical. Again, those Pmaps are going to help give you insight into that intensity, but you want to be able to adjust it. So taking a closer look at the actual dimmer module that they've fitted in the end rail, it starts at 15% intensity and ramps right up to 100%. A really easy way to jump right in and make those adjustments to suit your plant's requirements. But just next to that dimmer, you'll notice two RJ ports, an input and an output. These are effectively a link for commercial growers and even domestic growers if they wanted to connect their lights to a master control system. It does also offer the output port to allow daisy chaining along multiple lights. Basically meaning you can manage a full grow room of multiple lights from a single port or a single control circuit. A really nice set of commercial features for even the domestic grower. For most domestic growers out there, you're simply going to connect your light to a timer, which is going to cycle your light on and off, with you setting the dimmer where it needs to be on the module. Very simple and effective, but if you're looking for that commercial set of features, it is incredibly easy to program up. Simply setting the dimmer to EXT, which is the step beyond 100%, the light is now listening for an input communication. This is where you're going to connect your master controller, whether it be 4SEASONS or an AC Infinity controller via a Type A adapter. Your light will now be listening to the controller and communicating to whatever it needs, whether that's light scheduling, sunrise, sunset, or a whole host of other features that are controller dependent. Once your first light is connected, connecting multiple lights to the same system is just as easy, finding that you can simply go from the output port of your first light into the input port of your second light, third, fourth, and so on, effectively meaning you can control a whole grow space from a single control point. So if you're a grower looking to invest into high quality LED equipment with absolutely no compromise, the Helios 480X should definitely be at the top of your list. Backed with that full 5-year warranty, SAA certification, you can be assured that this grow light's going to be working hard day in and day out. I hope this video has covered all the little details you might have been looking for, but if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to get in touch with us here at Herbal House. Thanks for watching.